starting an AI agency is the last thing you should do. Every Liam Otley and every other motherfucker on the planet that's telling you that is lying to you. They're full of shit. They were incredibly successful because of the timing at which they entered the market. They entered the market before it blew up. So like, it's not fully adopted yet. But agencies in general, if you do your job too good, they usually want to fire you or do it themselves. If you do your job too, then they want to fire you or do it themselves or find somebody else, right? If you're too expensive, they want to fire you and find somebody else. And if you're too cheap, they don't believe you. And then in order for it to be scalable, you have to have a massive team. You have to have a bunch of systems in place, and you have to have a really, really good product market fit. So like 90% of the people out there are like, I'm going to go start an AI agency, and all these motherfuckers are telling me that I should go after realtors and doctors and lawyers and solar and the most competitive markets on the planet. You are full of. There is no way that Joe Bob, the beginner that just started figuring out AI, has never run an agency in his life, doesn't have a team, and is probably broken, is ever going to scale an AI agency or make $5,000 a month, let alone 10 grand or 30 grand or whatever the it is that you're promising on your webinar. You're full of and stop telling people that because it's a lie. Just because it worked for you doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody else. It's not. So it's literally the last thing you should do. For me, what I believe is that consulting is one of the best ways that you can go. That's one of the offers that I'm getting ready to present. The reason is because I've had some success in doing it. And there's an individual who I had a conversation with the other day that charges $15,000 an hour for his time as a consultant because he is highly specialized. He is very good at what he does, and he's earned the right to charge that amount of money an hour. But I don't know a single agency on the planet that's charging $15,000 an hour. An AI agency, the model itself is flawed to begin with because it's easy. A Facebook ad agency anymore isn't even good either, to be honest with you, because like you can just go out and get a play account and AI can do half the that a marketing guru used to be able to do, right? But like the reason why a Facebook ad agency, a Google ad agency worked as well as it did for as long as it did is because Facebook is so fucking complex that figuring out ads is incredibly difficult. And to be good at it, you have to be really, really good, right? So like I know a lot of guys that have empires that are built, that are managing millions of dollars a day in ad spend because they're really, really good at what they do. But like you really got to be good. With AI, like that's not the case, right? Like you're going to go into a business and be like, okay, I'm going to set this chatbot up for you. I can tell you the life expectancy of the average customer. The average customer lasts for between 3 and 6 months. So we constantly have to be getting customers, be getting calls, be blah, 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 right? Like nonstop. And I'm constantly dealing with, oh, well, but can I just go get an account myself? Yeah, you could. You can set up an agent in 30 seconds. Getting it to convert is another story. But now I've got to go through and I got to spend 2 hours convincing you of that. Or let you go out and try it on your own and then come back. But by then, 50 other agencies have retargeted you. And now the Joe Bob down the street doing it for $300 a month when I charge $2,000. Where am I going with that? It's an infinite loop of. So like, yeah, AI agency, I think is the last thing that anybody should do. I believe that consulting is a much better option because you can charge higher fees. You can do it by yourself without a massive team. And businesses all over the planet right now are looking for it. They want people to come in and tell them what they need to do to be more efficient, to automate more shit, and to AIify their business.
Can I add something real quick, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think any type of agency is the last thing you should do. I think most people, when we start, we want to just not have a job, right? I don't think I was the average entrepreneur. I had a very successful job in Wall Street and I left that. And my attitude towards building the agency wasn't, I'm an agency owner. I thought, who do I need to work for to learn the business? And then I can be an agency, right? Most people nowadays, regular people that have average jobs, whether it's a professional job or a blue collar job, whatever, they go from that to agency owner. So with that mindset, I think that nobody should have an agency, right? Obviously, most people don't want to pay the price or learn or just go through that transition, and they just go directly to an agency or a business owner. And obviously, I mean, we pay the price when that happens. You know, it took me like 6-7 years before I made more than $15,000 in a whole year. Most people glorify and they talk all this bullshit, and that's not what it is. I like to think of myself as a very high IQ individual, yet it took me 6 years to figure things out. Granted, a lot of things were in my head and I lost time. I wasn't disciplined, a lot of things, right? I mean, that's the reason why this type of training and help is crucial, because it's not just the tactics, but it's also the psychology, right? But yeah, any type of agency, I think, is not the way to go. That's not the first step, I would say.
I agree 100%. I'm actually getting ready to write a book on that same thing. And this is where you start to think about and realize you are the difference. You start out in your journey and you're like, I'm not good enough to where people are going to buy me. So I'm not going to sell me. I'm going to sell another product. And so all of your focus becomes, I want to try to sell people on buying this product because I believe in this product more than I believe in me. Now, when you realize that you are the most valuable piece, and for a lot of people, like, you have to go through the process that gets you there to where you have that belief. I went through the same thing. I still doubt it from time to time. I'm not invincible. Doors have opened up for me in the last 6 months where I'm literally like having conversations with people that I never dreamed I would be, that come to me and ask me a question, that answer my phone call when I call. I never in a million years would have thought that these people would value my opinion or answer my phone call. And now that they are, I realize what had changed in that time period. It wasn't like some magical it was the fact that I am finally believing that I am worth that phone call. I don't have any masterful plan or idea, or like, I'm not some genius. Like, I know a lot of this from experience now. But the biggest thing is, honestly, my confidence in myself, my belief in my own value, more than anything. So it's like, you know, when it comes time for you to figure out, I guarantee you the difference between doing and not doing is your belief in whether or not it's possible. I don't know shit about dog grooming, but I imagine that there has to be some pretty upscale dog groomers somewhere in the world who are like right now making 30, 40 grand a month, 50 grand a month, whatever. They want to be doing $1 million and they don't know how to get there, right? If you can be the person that can teach them to get their business to that level, absolutely, you should be that person. And that's just like, it requires a shift in like thinking though. Like, you have to think, right? Like, if I'm just reselling Go High Level, how scalable is that? Yes, there's a lot of money in the recurring revenue of reselling that, especially if you can add a lot of value to it. But when you're ready to scale to the next level, what's the next level of that look like? Start to think about that and like have that vision and goal in mind. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think Alex Hormozi could blow up a Go High Level SaaS business for dog groomers?
Yeah, probably with a bad offer, probably, yeah.
Why?
He would just be so focused on one thing and one offer specifically. And with such a great offer, obviously the value would be there. And I guess it'd be just a matter of going through the numbers, right?
Why are you so sure that Alex could do that?
Because he's done it a lot of times, I think 14 times.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you have more confidence in Alex than you do yourself.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, it's not whether or not dog groomers will work. It's whether or not you believe that dog groomers will work, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
You're right.
And the longer that you sit here and around with landscapers or groomers or whatever, the longer you're going to sit there and you're going to have a really hard time getting to your goal wherever you want to get.
Okay.
What you've got to do, you need to go all in. You need to stop worrying about everybody else. And if you're passionate about it, passion makes up for a of other stuff. One offer, one niche, one avatar.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time, and I take it to heart. You're totally right, and that's what I needed to hear. Thank you.
We all fall into that type of shit. We all have problems where we are more confident in somebody else than we are ourselves. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. I fall into the same trap myself sometimes. And yet the other day, I was on a phone call with a gentleman who is in one of my AI communities on calls like this, and I have provided him a tremendous amount of value. And he does something with consulting and is pretty successful at it. So I wanted to reach out to him for support. Asked him if he would be willing to hop on a call with me. His assistant got me on his calendar earlier this week, and it was supposed to be a 30-minute call. An hour and a half into our call, we started getting into the topic of what to charge people and how much you're worth. He started to tell me how I wasn't charging anywhere near what I was worth. Started to ask, like, well, how much are you charging? And he said, well, if I told you what I charge and what my company charges out for me at an hour for consulting, you would probably be sick. So of course I had to know, well, how much are you charging? And his company charges him out for consulting on AI and on business strategy at a rate of $15,000 per hour. You cannot get on his calendar for the next 13 weeks. So obviously at that point, my next question was, we were now approaching the 2-hour point in our call. And I said, why did you hop on the phone with me for free? Because essentially what you just told me is we're coming up on $30,000 worth of your time that you legitimately charge every day of the week. If you want his business to come in and do an audit, they come in, they spend 4 hours, and they give you a map of what you need to do to take your business from here to here. They guarantee it, but that 4-hour process is 25 grand. That's not for him one-on-one. That's for his team to go in for 4 hours. Incredibly eye-opening, right? But I asked him, I was like, why would you essentially give me a $30,000 call and not charge me for it? His answer was because 2 things. Number one, he says, you've provided me enough value so far that I feel as though I owe you a debt. Me just coming on and doing something like what I'm doing here for you guys was enough value for him to feel like I had done enough for him, made him enough money with the knowledge and information that I'd given him, that it was worth it for him to come on. And the second thing he said was that he knew that it wouldn't be time wasted, that he knew that the information, the knowledge, the literal trade secrets that he revealed to me on that call were things that he knew would not be wasted by me, that I would actually take that information and I would use it, that I would leverage that I would share insights on stuff like what I'm doing here with you guys today,
right,
and try to make a difference and impact on other people in the world. Like, I don't say that to brag. I say that to let you guys know that, like, that's the power of purely providing value for people without question, right? For a long time, I was caught up in this thought that all of my secrets, right? All of my knowledge that I had, like, I didn't want to let people know the secrets and the tools and the strategies and the tactics and all that, because if I did, then I wouldn't be able to, like, they would steal my customers, or I wouldn't be able to succeed, or they would be my competition or whatever, right? And when I started to change that mindset, and when I started to transition to a point where I provide value and insight into everything that I'm doing, no matter what, and I hold nothing back, that is when the biggest doors started to open up for me. The most valuable relationships, conversations, the amount of value that I have had people give me has far exceeded the value that I have given away, at least in my opinion. And so, like, that is the way that you want to try to approach every conversation that you have with your customers. And I promise you, if you provide that level of value, they will trust you, and they will come back to you, and they will end up hiring you. The people that you really want are the people that are like, Okay, you just showed me your entire process. I know that that's going to work. There's no doubt. Like now, if I tell you like I'm I'm going to get you from where you're sitting now to London with magic, you're going to think I'm full of shit. Even if I have the best process on the planet, even if my process is to have a chauffeur come to your house, pick you up, take you to a private jet that's going to transport you all the way to London, and you're going to have meals and food and everything the whole way. If I just tell you that I promise you that I will pick you up at your house and get you to London in the next few hours with magic, it's going to work. I promise, no matter what. I'll give you a guarantee and everything. It's only going to be $27. That's what a lot of people do with their offer. They're like, I don't want to reveal my secret. I don't want to tell you how I'm going to do this thing. I don't want to tell you the tool that I use, because if I do, then you're not going to want to buy from me. And it's actually the exact opposite. Like when you provide so much value that people feel stupid saying no, just like Alex says in his book, right? It's true. But it's also like you have to have some level of transparency there, or people will think that you're full of shit. And that's the hardest thing to do, right? Is to try and figure out like, how am I going to sell somebody this thing while I'm trying to not tell them that I use this other tool, like Go High Level, for instance. A lot of people that get into that and are selling it as a SaaS, they're like, oh my God, I can't let anybody know that it's Go High Level. Everybody already knows, right? Like, believe me, everybody knows. So for you to try to hide the fact that you're a reseller of Go High Level, it's only going to hold you back. If you can show people why you're different and that you're the value, and that's the biggest thing. Like you have to know that your knowledge is valuable, that what you do is valuable, and you have to have confidence. You got to remove the mind that holds you back, that makes you think that you're not good enough, because ultimately that's what that is, right? It's the software that I'm providing is more valuable than me, is what you're saying when you don't want to show people the that you do, or the strategy or the tactic or the tool that you use. You're saying that that tool is more valuable than you are, so you need to hide it. And if instead you show people that you are the value, not the tool, that is ultimately what people will buy. They will buy you. Whether it's cold email, cold DMs, cold calls, conversations, picking up a chick in a bar, it's all the same. It's all confidence. And you're always selling you.
I just wanted to second Robert, Andrew. I think for me, it's mind-boggling. A lot of value. This is my first meeting here, but I think what you just shared is eye-opener. I'm glad I'm actually taking notes.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So just for everybody else on, because I feel like I need to just touch on this one last time.
Yeah.
Everybody's offer applies to everybody. Okay.
Hmm.
So like Yeezys, does everybody know what Yeezys are? Okay. So designer penny loafers
Wow.
fit anybody from middle school child to a 90-year-old grandpa. Okay. But those designer $3,000 pair of penny loafers aren't going to sell to people that are 15 years old. And they're probably not going to sell to people that are 90 years old. It's going to be a very, very specific target market. Now, that's not to say that you won't have people that, you know, the outlier that's 18 years old that for whatever reason absolutely loves penny loafers, and he's going to come in and buy your product. That doesn't mean that you want to market to that 18-year-old. So you focus on whoever your actual like target avatar, you come up with that avatar, the ideal client, the ideal customer. And when you've really, really defined it, that's who you attack primarily. And then if you get somebody that's a female that's, you know, 100 that wants to buy your penny loafers, fantastic, you know. You just don't actively go after them, and you don't gear all of your messaging towards them. The other thing that I would say is, what is it that you offer?
So basically, it's a way, an incentive-based marketing approach. Their holidays, basically, they're about $1,000 where they can give to customers. So we've got access to a whole bunch of rooms that are available in 4-star hotels all over the world. And so we offer that as a package to solar companies so that they can use it as an incentive strategy.
Okay, awesome. Here's what I would tell you. Number one, try to get a lot clearer on what it is that you offer.
Yeah.
so that you have a really, really good 30-second elevator pitch on
Yeah.
what it is that you offer.
Mhm.
Because what you sell is not hotel rooms. You need to tap into what it is that you actually sell
Mhm.
and understand what actually resonates with the people that you're going to be selling that to. Number two,
Yeah.
solar, real estate, doctors and lawyers, coaches and consultants are probably the most targeted,
Approached. Yes.
difficult, and hard to convert people on the planet
Mhm.
because everybody is going after them. That's not a bad idea if you're really, 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 really good at what it is that you sell. But if you are not, and that's okay, like recognize that if you're not, you should probably try and find a better niche, something that you know a lot about, preferably. So for you, you've got to figure out whatever that is. If you want that to be solar, more power to you. But what I'm telling you is that if you haven't really figured it out yet, then you should reevaluate that a little bit and maybe test just a little bit and figure out, like, try and find those first 5 people that you can really crush it for, even if you've got to do it for like free. They're in a very specific market so that you can get hyper specific on who they are and then be the guy for that market.
Yeah, brilliant.
Like, you're never going to be the guy for solar.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you could be if you got a lot of money and a lot of time and a big team. That's what it takes to like master a massive market like that. Like, you got to have a huge wallet, huge team, and be really, really good, right? Alternatively, you don't have to be all of those things if, like, you're targeting dog groomers. They're not looking for, vacations to give their people, right? So, like, I would try and think, like, what other industries do you know of that could potentially be very lucrative for you that you could become the guy, right? Because then you can be like the face of that on YouTube, on podcasting, on every other thing on the planet. And like, you can be the travel guy for that industry. And then when you blow up as the guy for that industry, now you'll have solar guys beating down your door.
Yeah.
Right. But right now, for you to try and go out and attack those guys, it's going to be tough as hell.
We have sold a few solars already.
I get it.
Yeah. And they're coming back to us and saying, hey, I need more holidays. This is working. I need more holidays.
Awesome. That's awesome. And so like I said, it's up to you. And you really have to sit back and think, like, here's the biggest thing that I've learned in the last 6 months. I had one of my mentors said to me, data makes decisions, ego makes errors. Okay. So look at that without any ego and say to yourself, am I really dominating in solar, or am I just like, did I get lucky with a few guys? Right.
Yeah,
You're not going to bail on them no matter what, right? Like, you're not going to just say, oh, I'm not going to service you anymore because I'm going to go after dog owners, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, like, if you can try to find another niche that you can really dominate or get hyper specific within solar, that's another option. But I think that's going to be really, really hard to do, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, like, again, split test it.
Yeah.
Maybe for now, like, have the rest of your team continue to go after these solar guys. But I would really start to try and think, like, what other niche is there that I can really dominate in this? Because here's the thing, what you offer, I have seen this several times, and I've seen it for very, very cheap, where I just pay a monthly service and be able to get access to vacations and holidays and all that I can give to my people for nothing, included with my thing. And
I know Marco, I've seen his stuff.
So for you to not be perceived in the same level or commoditized, you've got to become the guy that proves everybody else wrong about that. And doing that within solar, or one of the most competitive niches on the planet, is going to be tough.
Got it. Yeah, very good point, Andrew. Love it.
That's all
Thank you.
I'm saying on it.
So appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Andrew, could you stop providing so much value, bro? It's kind of it's too much, man. Too much value.